Recording in progress.
Hi, my name's Phil Morton. I'm in Liverpool, and today is April the 13th, I believe, 2026. This is my contribution to this presentation on System 50/50 in sound. Where did it all begin, and how did it begin? So, it all began in 2008 in Hope University in a workshop series, and a workshop specifically that had 13 people in it. And prior to 2008 on this particular workshop, I'd spent roughly 10 years doing lots of workshops in what I call the nature and practice of free improvisation, which were derivatives from John Stevens' work, having met Pauline Oliveros, Maggie Nichols, Eddie Prevost, Paul Hessian, and shadowing a wide range of free improvisers. So that was my prior experience. So I'm running a workshop 2008 in Liverpool University, Hope University. There's 13 people in the room, and what we had done in the early stages of the workshop was what I call the Eddie Prevost method, heuristic. You learn free improvisation by doing it. So there's 13 people in the room. What we did was a series of quartets, small groups. A quartet plays, the rest listen. Then after 8 minutes, another quartet play, and the rest listen. So on, so forth. And that's a good methodology, which I got from Eddie Prevost, really. You learn it by doing it. But the problem was, if it is a problem is the right word, I wanted their actual playing experience to be longer rather than shorter. And so if they spend most of the time listening, they're not actually playing, although that's part of the process is listening. Yeah, I hope you get me drift. And what I wanted was for all 13 people to play a piece. So this is where it all begins, because my assessment, and you could go as far to say as a judgment, is that 13 people could not play free improvised music productively and generate a strong experience. Obviously they could, because they just do it and it is what it is. But my assessment was the diversity of characteristics of the group was too great to deliver a cohesive experience that would lead to individuals in the group wanting to do that again, i.e. would they come back again and do a session where all 13 people play. I hope you follow that. It's different than 4 people play, and my judgment was, no, I'm not going to do it. And so what happened next? Well, normally, what would I do next? I'd try and sit on the shoulders of giants. What would other people do? So what would Maggie Nichols do, Eddie Prevost do, Pauline Oliveros, John Stevens, or whatever? And I decided not to do that. To keep repeating yourself, you only get the same results. So I had to have a deep think about this, and what came to my mind, and this is now memory listening back, so it might be a false memory, was it's going to be a weak experience if this diverse group of people try to play free improvised music as an ensemble of 13 people. The obstacle would be they would just get in each other's way. And that's what I can hear myself thinking back then. So the solution would be to stop them getting in each other's way. So my first response to this was, if you watch the slide, was to introduce what is known as the egg timer. It's on the slides there. So in the egg timer approach, you can only play for half of the piece, basically. I'm not going to explain how that works in detail, but if you've got a 10-minute piece, the use of egg timer says you can only play for 5 minutes, and that's an aggregate total, and you play in episodes, gestures, contributions. You dip in, you dip out. So therefore, 13 people are not all playing all at once, or if they do, later on there'll be lots of silences. If you follow that, it's quite difficult to explain a simple thing. So if you've got 13 people, and if you look at the photograph in the slides, it says 8 minutes Tacet, 8 minutes play. So the piece is 16 minutes. Well, it says 8 minutes Tacet for each person. So that's 104 minutes of silence is being put into a 16-minute performance of 13 people. So what you're introducing is space. And you're creating space, and space where people will listen. And that's it. Play, not play. And it's surprising where this will take you if you engage in this. Play, not play, 13 people. You create an ecology of sound that cannot be prescribed and predicted. Because if you follow the notes and understand what's going on here, each individual with the chess clock is operating it in a very different way. It's an aggregate total, it's not a block of time. So people are coming and going in a way that cannot be predicted, controlled, or whatever. So what we created, or I created in this composition, was space. One specifically shaped by silence. So silence is not generating silence in your playing. It does not require instrumental virtuosity. It doesn't even require social virtuosity or cognitive literacy or emotional literacy. You just stop playing. So unfortunately, it's that simple. So although I can generate 30,000 words and a master's degree on this, should I wish to, we are confronted with a very simple method that creates space, and we reduce the risk of a weak experience because there's too much going on. In the introduction there was the quote from London Improvisers Orchestra, so if you don't trust me, maybe you trust the London Improvisers Orchestra, and what they say, it gets difficult the more people there are in the room, let's say 13 people, to create a collective experience that has a sense of being egalitarian or equalness or whatever we're looking for here. And maybe I'm running out of time now. It's simple. What we have created is agency. Everyone has agency to play. In the example in the introduction of 8, they can play for 8 minutes. So we're replacing freedom with agency. We're bringing in space driven by silence. We're creating an environment where you might listen, encourages you to listen, and then you can make connections and try and play as an ensemble or play whatever way you wish to. I've tried to keep this simple. Have been working on this quite densely for 10 years. It's a bit of a shock where you end up with this conceit, because play not play becomes a binary mechanism that leads to emergence, and emergence is complexity that arrives from simplicity. So it's simple, play not play. You arrive at complexity, and somewhere it challenges some of the notions of free improvisation. So I can't go there because it'll get toxic. Play not play, that's it. And so if we go back right to the beginning, where I came in on this, I've got 13 people in a room. How do we get them to play with some sense of musicality or cohesion? Am I allowed to say that? You create space and you give them agency to work with silence, to work with sound. You're going to have collective silence and you're going to have collective sound. And that is the gift that will keep on giving. And that's the end of this introduction. You can leave comments. If it's on YouTube, you can leave comments in the comments. You can try and contact Phil Morton by hook or crook. And as I approach 10 minutes, that's 5 minutes too long for me to be talking to you. I'm going to stop now. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. And that's how it all began. How do you create space?